Guess what day it is?
And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
You what?
Derapy. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it feels like Trump is purposely saying the worst possible thing just to see how long he can get away with it. It's actually insane. I have never in my entire life seen someone try and do so much to deflect people's attention away from themselves, but also simultaneously seemingly forcing you to look at them as even more suspect. Could you imagine if Joe Biden
I was going to foot.
said he never had the privilege of going to the island? Trump does know what people are saying happened on the island, right? I just want to be super clear about this. This isn't a left or right, red team, blue team issue. It's like Jeffrey Epstein was out here full on diddling, like everybody knows. He was touching kids. He was on the island.
There were kids on the island.
It's so obvious that Trump is just improving, just freestyling every time he's asked a tough question. I legitimately think that he was stumped by the question and he thought to himself, like, I mean, they're saying a lot of cool people went to this island, so I'm not gonna say that I have no idea what they're talking about because I'm cool. I know about the island. I'm just gonna say that I was invited and I politely declined.
I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Wing Wong.
Wait, why was it a good moment? Wait, so you knew bad things were happening on the island? You knew that bad people were going to the island to do bad things. You were invited. Apparently you said no, and then you just kind of kept your mouth shut about it. And even though people have been asking you about it nonstop, like, please release the list. Now that it's obvious that there's no way you can get out of it, you're like, you know what? Can you guys just look literally anywhere else at anyone? Do y'all know that Larry Summers dude? Who? Homeboy from Harvard? Yeah, he went to that island. Bill Clinton also went to the island, according to Trump. But it's like, okay, so you know there's like a list of people that have gone to this island, but we can't see the list. But there's also no list. But also Obama and Comey made up the list. Who voted for this? It's never been more obvious that somebody's guilty of something.
Wing Wong.
One more bit on Trump, 100% related. Unfortunately, this just broke within the last 24 hours, so I'm gonna take a look at this article about it just to make sure I get this right. Because every time I see another Trump and Epstein thing, it sounds so dumb and incriminating that it really has me thinking that some of it has to be fake, and every time I look into it, it's not. It's insane. This is a real headline from NBC News. Trump says Jeffrey Epstein, quote unquote, stole Virginia Giuffre from him when she worked at Mar-a-Lago Spa. President Donald Trump said convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein stole Virginia from his Mar-a-Lago club, a stunning admission that could increase scrutiny of his relationship with the late financier. Even as his administration seeks to change the subject from Epstein, Trump was speaking to reporters Tuesday when he was asked about his comments over the weekend about a falling out with Epstein because he took employees from his business. Quote, he took people that worked for me, and I told him don't do it anymore. And he did it. Trump said, telling reporters that he barred Epstein from Mar-a-Lago, his estate in Palm Beach, Florida. Stay the hell out of here. This is really awful. So Trump was specifically asked about whether Epstein stole Virginia, who was one of Epstein's most prominent survivors and led the charge calling for his arrest. Virginia, who died literally in April. Rest in peace. Trump says, I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us. So you know, none whatsoever. So I just want to be crystal clear about this. Trump is trying to evade suspicion about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. He's trying to get people off the trail, and he thinks it's a good idea to tell people that him and Jeffrey Epstein had a falling out because Jeffrey Epstein was stealing young women from his Mar-a-Lago spa. Trump had young girls working for him. Epstein was taking the girls from him, and he was like, yeah, I haven't been cool with that guy since then. This is literally the worst possible way I can see you saying that you and Epstein weren't cool anymore. It could have been, he's a creep, I had a feeling, he insulted my wife, he didn't come to my birthday party, he's a bad texter, he ugly, his breath bad, but no. As the pressure mounts to dissociate yourself with Epstein and everything he stood for and every crime that he committed, you say, yeah, he took one too many little girls from my spa. Donald Trump, I hope you dive into a shallow pool and dislocate your collarbone.
You're a wing-wong.
We will continue to document Donald Trump's many sad and futile attempts to get people to stop talking about Epstein and his relationship with him. If you don't take anything away from this episode, don't forget, it's not that Trump wasn't invited to the island. He just didn't have the privilege of going. That's according to him. That's not me, that's Trump.
Wing-wong.
In lighter news, during a WNBA game yesterday, somebody threw a sex toy on the court while they were playing, and I think that person should be arrested.
Wing-wong.
I have tons of questions about this story, and I don't even know if they're really worth asking or trying to find the answers to, but like, why did they bring it to the arena? How did they get it in? What prompted them to do this? Did somebody pay them to do it? Did they lose a bet? Do they actually think that people won't know who did it? Do they not realize that there are cameras everywhere, etc., etc.? Some people on Twitter are saying that this is like a threat of like sexual violence against the WNBA players, and I don't think it's that serious. I just think it's somebody being
a wing-wong.
Like, humor is subjective, okay? If somebody were to tell you in passing that this thing happened, it is a silly thing to have happen. But if you think about it for more than like 25, 30 seconds, then you're like, it's really gross and weird and odd. And there are like kids there and you should probably be in prison. Also, I watched a video clip because I was like curious about the reporting on it and I was trying to get to the facts of the situation, you know, as a journalist. And the reaction from the commentator is worth sharing. This is pretty funny.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay.
Not really much more you can say in a situation like that, but I do think it is worth mentioning that I've never heard of anything like this happening at a NBA game. And I do think that it is indicative of a general lack of respect for the WNBA, and I think that is unfortunate. I hope that whoever brought that object and threw it at that game is not only banned from WNBA events, but also NBA events in general. Like, you should not be allowed outside anymore, frankly. It was the Dream and the Valkyries playing, and I was looking back at the video, and it was literally tied 75-75 with a minute left to play. Like, one of the most crucial moments of the game, just ruined by some nonsense. Anyways, here's a story from the BBC, which stands for Big Beautiful Coverage. Indian man to sue parents for giving birth to him.
Let him cook.
A 27-year-old Indian man plans to sue his parents for giving birth to him without his consent. Mumbai businessman Raphael Samuel told the BBC that it's wrong to bring children into the world because they then have to put up with lifelong suffering. Mr. Samuel, of course, understands that our consent can't be sought before we are born, but insists that it was not our decision to be born. Wow! So as we didn't ask to be born, we should be paid for the rest of our lives to live, he argues. I like the cut of this guy's jib. A demand like this could cause a rift within any family, but Mr. Samuel says he gets along very well with his parents, both of whom are lawyers, and they appear to be dealing with it with a lot of humor. In a statement, his mother, Kavita, explained her response to the recent upheaval my son has created. I must admire my son's temerity to want to take his parents to court knowing both of us are lawyers. And if Raphael could come up with a rational explanation as to how we could have sought his consent to be born, I will accept my fault, she says. Man, this is a long article just to say that this guy doesn't want to get a job.
Wing Wong.
Hey, I'm praying for this dude. I hope he gets whatever he wants, which I guess, I don't know, maybe he doesn't want to be alive in that case. You know what? Maybe I'm not. You know what? I hope he doesn't get what he wants. No, I think he said he just wants to be paid to like live. I mean, you have to like do something for somebody. It's crazy to just pop out and just be like, I'm here, pay me. In other news, notorious red team master baiter, that's 2 words, Charlie Kirk is saying that there are many more consequences from the passing of Hulk Hogan than one would imagine. This is what Charlie Kirk had to say about his passing.
He was an icon for so many young men in this country, and in a world now that is just so toxically feminine, we're losing an outwardly masculine, fun, magnanimous, cheerful, and joyful icon that so many men looked up to.
Oh no. Anyway.
Did y'all know Hulk Hogan was kind of racist?
Oh no, brother.
Not only did he say something racist, he actually said the words, quote, "I am racist to a point." He's not joking. He's not a comedian. He wasn't trying to be funny. This was like in a private conversation. He's like, "I am racist." Now, I'm not the type of person that likes to wait until somebody dies to care about the racist thing or terrible thing that they did. And I'm not saying that his feelings towards black people have anything to do with what he did when he was wrestling. I'm just saying, when a 70-year-old self-proclaimed racist dies, I'm not over here like, oh, boo-hoo. I need you all to understand something. I'm going to read exactly what Hulk Hogan said so you understand why I'm talking about this. What I've noticed is when somebody is trending on Twitter, whether it's because they passed or because they did something wrong, a lot of times the context is left out, and I feel like it's important to actually tell you what was said. Not just the "I'm racist to a point," which is already insane, but this is the full context. This happened in 2007. It was a recording in 2007. Just to be clear, Hulk Hogan passed at 71 years old. So in 2007, he's over 50 years old, okay? This isn't cracking bad racist jokes on the back of the bus. This is a fully grown man, a decade away from retirement. He's talking to this person about his daughter dating a black man, potentially, and I'm going to read you what he said, and I'm gonna have my editor chop it up so it doesn't sound so crazy, but you'll understand what I'm talking about.
I'm not a double standard type of guy. I'm a racist to a point, fucking niggas. But then, when it comes to nice people, and I don't give it, 8-foot tall basketball player, and we're gonna fuck with niggas, let's get a rich one.
Now, me personally, that's not the type of language I could hear from a 50-year-old man and be like, I'm sure you didn't mean it like that. That man is a racist. Now, if you enjoy watching that man wrestle, that's fine. I'm not mad at you. If you think that it's in poor taste for me to talk about this shortly after he died, that's okay. But I'm a black person and it bothers me, so I'm gonna talk about it. Also, it is worth mentioning Hulk Hogan came out and he was like, oh, I felt so bad about this. I thought about ending it all. I'm not a racist. I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I have some bias, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay. I just feel like it's important to give you this context before I talk about why Charlie Kirk is stupid. Charlie Kirk would go on to say,
you look at the icons now that people are looking up to. You look at Nicki Minaj or Cardi B or what a much better icon. Eat your vitamins, say your prayers, train. It's a lot better than, well, you can fill in the blanks of all those degenerate rap lyrics.
First of all, the idea that people are actually out here, like millions of people, are looking up to Cardi B and trying to model their life after, that's insane. And if those people do exist, how would you know, Charlie Kirk? Are you talking to young women about how they look up to Cardi B and why? And mentioning Nicki Minaj too, like, how much do you actually care about Hulk Hogan and his influence if you're using his death as a opportunity to be like, these black women are ruining society? Like, what is wrong with you? Now, you could argue, Derek, aren't you using his death to talk about how he's racist? No. I'm just trying to give people information that they might not have known otherwise and also providing greater context on why I have the feelings that I do, in Derapy. Charlie Kirk is using Hulk Hogan's death to say, oh man, somebody that people should have looked up to, somebody that is a actual self-proclaimed racist, that guy is a lot better than these girls who rap. Like, brother, people are not seriously looking up to Nicki Minaj like that.
Lie on a dead mama, lie on a dead mama, lie on a dead.
Charlie Kirk, you are in fact
a wing wong.
Also, Nicki Minaj caught a stray, whatever.
Wing wong.
To close out our show today, we have a apology video, which I always love listening to and kind of rating in a way. Professional look at me lift weights influencer Joey Swoll got into trouble about Hulk Hogan because he felt the need to post a tribute to Hulk Hogan the day that he passed because he was a big fan of him. He was a fan of him as a wrestler, etc., etc. Naturally, because he's a person on the internet posting a thing on the internet about a person that is a self-proclaimed racist, people were like, hey, That guy's racist. Joey Swoll is initially defensive about, why can't I just make a post about the wrestler? Why are you guys making such a big deal out of this? Now, the cool thing about this specific story is that I don't have to go and watch his full Instagram live because he went and made an apology video that gives us all the context that I feel like we need to determine whether or not he's being
A wing wong.
Here we go. It's apology time.
I owe my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed.
I wish I could give the person credit who I got this idea from, but it's something that I thought about a lot too. It's really interesting when somebody famous dies, how people want to make it about them. So this guy's a big fan of Hulk Hogan, so Hulk Hogan passes and he's like, didn't I dress up as him once? That'll show people that I was really into him. I just want people to know why I'm making the post about it. So, people can understand that I'm emotional right now. I feel bad that this guy passed. And it's like, man, why do we have to make it about ourselves? Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I wouldn't make a post about somebody that I was a huge fan of passing away, especially if it was far too soon. But God forbid Kendrick Lamar Duckworth passes away tomorrow. It would be really odd for me to post a picture of myself wearing merch from his tour to be like, oh, gone too soon. What a guy. Man, I loved his music. It's like, why am I posting a picture of me though? Y'all let me know how you feel about that. It's always really interesting to me when I see somebody pass away, and then if they're a famous person, other famous people will post pictures that they took with the dead person and be like, oh, we were so close. I don't know, man. That just makes me feel weird. Y'all let me know though. Let's continue with his apology.
Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with, that made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers.
I just feel like a post that isn't highlighting yourself is probably better. And just to be clear about this, because I know that somebody's going to say something about it, if it's somebody in your family and you want to post pictures of you and them, that's different. That's your family. We're talking about a famous person that definitely doesn't know you. I also think, since we're talking about the apology, by the way, if you see some people going at you for how you paid tribute to somebody, if you really love them, if you really claim to have been inspired by them, it's kind of crazy to get super defensive about that. Make the post, maybe turn the comments off on it. Do you really need to read and see everybody sharing that feeling with you? Oh, I see how much you loved him. Oh, wow, you were such a big fan of him. I didn't know that, but now he's gone and now you're telling me. Oh,
I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done. Since last night, I have done a lot of research, talked to a few people, and learned all of the horrible, horrible things that man has done, which is way more than just making a mistake and being human.
You know what? I can actually empathize with this because I was somebody that had listened to literally all of Drake's music through 2023, early 2024. Then I've discovered things that I never knew about the guy. So it would be very hypocritical of me to come on here and be like, wow, you didn't know that Hulk Hogan was a racist? A lot of people didn't know, if we're being all the way for real. So if I'm being honest, I feel like the apology is relatively sincere so far. I'm really not mad at it, but let's listen to the rest of it.
So because of that, I have taken the videos down and I apologize to anybody that I offended. I am sorry.
Cool.
Also, during last night's live stream, I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very offensive term.
In the summer of big 2025, my man didn't know that you're not supposed to say color. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Wing wong.
It is pretty wild to not know that you shouldn't be saying colored people in the huge 2025. But as your resident black person, let's hear him out.
A few moments later, somebody educated me and told me that it wasn't okay to use that, which I immediately apologized to everyone and said I would never do that again. So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry. You know, my whole page, my whole brand is based on holding people accountable and doing better. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standards.
All right, bro, we hear you. Listen, a lot of people are saying about this video that he's only talking all sweet because he got caught, because his brand took a hit. He's trying to save face. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I have a lot of experience with people being racist online, and more so people being racist in real life. And based on his response, the sincerity in his tone, the fact that like I've never heard anything about this guy doing anything like this ever before. I'm like relatively familiar with this dude. I don't watch any of his content, but I've seen him around before, and like his videos seem like fine. I don't think this is the worst thing in the world. I don't think this is irredeemable. It is crazy to say colored in 2025. But it's not completely beyond the realm of possibility that he actually didn't know that Hulk Hogan was moving like that. So a little bit of a
Wing Wong.
but that's pretty much all. I have so much other stuff in this
Wing Wong Wednesday.
channel that I might be recording another episode right after this, or doing a live show where we get into some
Wing Wong leftovers.
But that's all I have for you all today. Love you, mean it, spread the bread, and enjoy the outro. Bye. Call me LQ.
Wash away all my past transgressions and lead me towards the gate. Understand this act don't warrant G's, but water regulate. My soul was made to steal my heart, impossible to penetrate. I'm more than just a book of word and verses we regurgitate. My sins were in it something hotter than lava. The clothing resembled Wakata. New life ending near Automata. The drama of toting llamas on islands, but no Bahamas. I need release for the commas for cousin, sister, and mama. I felt alone, then God burned the bush and Moses carried stone. My head had been in a book as long as it's been in a cell phone. A chrome don't Salone, I had it rocky, Creed was never wrong. And learned I never was alone, even when seeking out alone. My 10% circumvent riches, the spirit will be my home. The Lord was watching over my life like the holiest of drones. So I use my days, give him my praise, show him my